Shalom Israel, all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. And shalom to the elect men doing this work in truth and in sincerity. I want to get into a lesson about one of our forefathers, Eleazar, which is basically he was living in the time of the Grecians, alright? And this is 2 Maccabees 6 and 18. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man and of a well-favored countenance. Right. And I want to point that part out, of a well-favored countenance. Why was he of a well-favored countenance? Why? Because he had much wisdom. Like the scriptures say, Ecclesiastes 8:1, wisdom maketh a man's face to shine. Alright? So it says, and of a well-favored countenance was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh. So right then and there, it's basically opening up, basically saying how our forefathers was constrained to go off from the Lord, man. But he choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spitted forth and came of his own accord to be torment. Right, man. So our forefathers, they was warriors, man. They went hard for the Lord. Alright? They went hard for the Lord. They'd rather be tormented. They'd rather had their limbs chopped off. They'd rather go through whatever, man. They'd rather go through whatever than to go off from the Most High, man. It says, as it behooved them to come, that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. But they that had the charge of the wicked feast, for the old acquaintances they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and make as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king, that in so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. So right, this basically, like, you compare that today, man, how you got basically, you might have friends in the world that try to compel you, compel you to do, go off, do something wicked. Or even a better example is your family, man. Your family in the world, before you celebrate holidays, celebrate birthdays, and then what? They try to compel you to go back into that wicked way, by sugarcoating their wickedness. Is basically what they was doing here, like me myself. Whenever it's a birthday in my family, my father always said, I don't see where there's a problem with you celebrating. Like my grandmother's birthday came up, and he was like, I don't see where there's a problem where you can celebrate, the Lord bless your grandmother with 80 years of living. Why can't you celebrate that? But if it's off, man. Like our forefather, Eleazar was saying. But he began to consider discreetly, and as became his age and the excellency of his ancient years, and the honor of his gray head. So right, he began to consider discreetly. Alright? And how did he consider discreetly? He's going to get into it. Whereunto he was come in his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law made and given by God. So right, this also goes to show that no matter what you're doing, man, let your decisions be made by the Most High. Ask the Most High, is this the right decision? Ask the Most High, are you going off by thinking this? Read the scriptures, like he was doing. It says, from a child, and also I would like to point out that in that verse, it was saying that he was brought up, from the scriptures, man. That's how we were brought up, from the scriptures. All right, therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightways to send him to the grave. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were not going to a strange religion. And right, this just reminds me of the precept where it says, a good name is better than precious ointment, man. That's what he was saying right there. It says, whereby many young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, were now going to a strange religion, Salakia. And so they, through my hypocrisy, and desire to live a little time, and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to my old age, and make it abominable. So right, this also shows his character, man. How brotherly he was, man. That what he knew that he was a representation of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So what he had to represent the Most High in the best way he knew how, man. And what, through the scriptures, man. He represented the Most High through the scriptures. You know, he remained righteous. He kept his integrity. Okay. And so they, through mine hypocrisy and desire, Slakia, I'm at verse 26. For though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. And right, he knew that. What? And it goes back into the scripture, Psalms 5 and 5, man. Psalms 5 and 5. The fool shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. So he knew that, man. That's why he said this. That's why I'm going to read it again. He said, for though for the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet should I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. So either, no matter what, man, the Most High would have got at his ass, man. Showing you that he also had the fear of the Lord. Alright. It says, wherefore now, manfully changing this life. Oh, and if he also had a fear of the Lord, what the scripture say about the fear of the Lord? That wisdom, I forgot how God believes, like the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Right. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, showing you how he had wisdom. Okay. It says what? Wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such as one as my age requireth, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. So right, this goes to show, this precept right here goes to show that what? That we gotta look at this and we gotta reverence it and hold it, basically hold this example of our forefathers, in high esteem. It says to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. And right, this is how you know that for one, this is talking about Slakia. This is how you know that this is our forefathers, man. Because what, the people hated him for doing righteously, in which case they killed him, And the same goes with us, man. People hate us for doing righteously. When we out there in the highways and byways, people talk shit against us. People they think to kill us. Esau, try to speak on us wickedly. They try to demonize us. All of that, man. But what, our forefather, no matter what, man, it's also going to show that when you live courageously for the Most High, what, people hate you, man. It even goes into, if you read the actually chapter 7, 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter, the seven Maccabees brothers. What, how they were tormented for not wanting to eat swine's flesh as well, man. Alright? Going to show that no matter what, man, you got to stand strong for the Lord. Just like our forefathers did, man. Let me see if there's more meat on that. Salakia. Okay. It says, right, I'm going to just keep going. I'm almost finished. And leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. They that led him, changing the good will they bare him a little before into hatred, because the aforesaid speeches proceeded as they thought for a desperate mind. But when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might have been delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten, but in soul and well content to suffer these things because I fear him. Right, man, that's the main key. He was like, I'm well content to suffer these things because I fear him. Right, so man, our forefathers had fear, man. They had strong fear of the Lord. So much fear that they was willing to be tormented for not going off to the Most High, man. That's how we gotta be, man. We gotta be strong-minded. We gotta fear the Lord, man. And it says, and thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage. Slakia. Thus this man died, leaving his death for an example of a noble courage and a memorial of virtue unto young men All right, and that's who we are. We are young men. Okay, not only unto young men, but unto all his nation. So our forefather basically died, man, to show us how to live for the Most High, man. That's beautiful right there. All right, that's a beautiful example of the man of the Lord. I want to get one more precept. This is I want to get Sirach. All right. Sirach 30 and 16. Sirach 30 and 16. There is no riches above a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. And right, we seen our forefathers had a sound body. How did he have a sound body? Because in all his torment and everything he went through, who did he go back to? He went back to the scriptures, man. In which case, what? He was strong, and he was strong in his faith and in his courage, that he knew that the Most High was happy with him, man. All right, he was strong in his faith and his courage. That gave him a sound body. What? He wasn't wavering. He wasn't doing none of that. But what? Because he grew up in the scriptures, because his heart and his spirit was in the Most High. Well, he had a sound body, and no joy above the joy of the heart. And right, you can see that he had joy of the heart, man. He was of a well-favored countenance, man, showing you that he had joy of the heart. All right. So with that, Lord willing, brothers edified. Shalom.